Hello and welcome to an episode of the Fandom incident Iceberg. Now, if you're not familiar with what an iceberg is, I'll give you a quick rundown. An iceberg is basically like a tier list, like a ranking. And what it basically means is that at the top you have like the most normal and the most common and the least degenerate, and then at the bottom you have the most insane and the creepiest and the darkest of the incidents. Now in this video I'll be going through the Fandom disaster incident iceberg. If you don't know exactly what that means, it basically means incidents that happened inside of fandoms. Now, we will get to what that exactly means when we start going through them. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The first is the BTS shipping incident. BTS is a K-pop group featuring people like Jimin, Taehyung, and Jungkook. And BTS is like a normal K-pop group, J-pop group, where there's a lot of idol stardom, which means there's a lot of people who really idolizes these people. Now, this isn't really a specific incident, it's basically more incidents that happened, but basically people who are into K-pop and BTS are very, very into BTS and the fandom. There's multiple explosive moments or incidents that happened. So if we start with the first one, which is Taekook Airport Stalker. There's a lot of delusions between Taekook, which is Jungkook, and Taehyung, where there's a lot of shipping happening because, I don't know, romantic shipping of the two idols. There's this one incident that happened in 2019, 2020. It's not really certain when it was, but basically what happened, there was this video and photos of Taehyung and Jungkook not talking to each other at the airport. And that video was then dissected as proof. And what proof, you might ask of? Well, the proof of the producers and the other BTS members not enjoying the ship and don't want them to be together. So therefore, the delusion was that they separated them so they couldn't be romantically engaged with each other. This took a stance further, basically making it so that the other BTS crew and the people and the producers getting death threats and harassment from fans that were really annoyed and angry that their love wasn't allowed. And this led to many, many death threats to the other Big Hit staff. Then there's also the Jikook versus the Taekook shipping wars, where each side claimed that Jungkook's true love was either Taehyung or Jimin. This went far beyond typical headcanon and went into real life also. And this also led to a mass doxing event to other people that were claiming that these delusions were in fact delusions, which meant that they started doxing them and sending death threats and extra harassment to people who were against them. Then in South Korea, there was also a tabloid that was saying that these people were dating other people, which also led to the tabloid getting harassed and sent death threats. And Lee Mi-jo's business, which made this tabloid, also got sent death threats and doxing. It was so prevalent that they even had made up delusions and different universes where these ships of Taehyung and Jungkook and Jimin, that they were hiding wedding rings and they were hiding their love from the public. Dandy's World shipping culture incident refers to a major fallout in the Dandy's World universe, if you can say it like that, about a whimsical yet very emotional charged character called Dandy. And even though that the characters aren't romantically involved with each other, that didn't stop the fandom. Fans started creating ships with the character called V and Dandy. The ship, if met with any type of pushback, would be met with extreme hostility. And the original creator had even hinted that the characters were metaphors or they were not really totally canon, which was completely thrown out the window the second that the shippers heard about it. Other fans also took the series as a metaphor for mental illness and childhood trauma. And a lot of backlash was happening when it was sexual content made for Dandy, as they saw that as inappropriate and sexualizing of a non-romantic character and going against the creator's intent. There were created many posts and meta-analyses of why Dandy and V were in a relationship together, called the Vandy ship. And there's allegedly been accusations of grooming in Discord servers talking about this in this fandom. Anti-shippers were portrayed as transphobic and purity culture bullies. And one artist was even doxxed and had to quit making content as they kept getting harassed. The fan servers were then deleted and locked down. The creator of Dandy's World had to privatize certain uploads as there was too much harassment going on. My Hero Academia Crazy Bakudeku shippers. My Hero Academia is a Japanese anime series about this guy called Deku. There's a lot of spoilers, so I won't get too much into it. But the only important thing is that Deku/Midoriya and Bakugo are like the two main characters, if you can say it like that. They have a deeply complicated and abusive past together. Now, this ship became one of the most polarizing in the entire anime, since they don't really like each other that much, you know? And it birthed an extremely toxic culture inside of the fandom. After Bakugo and Midoriya shared a very intimate scene, not in a sexual way, might I add, but an intimate and emotional scene together in the war arc, shippers believed that the creators of My Hero Academia were actually approving of their ship and started to lean into it. When the creators of My Hero Academia then drew Bakugo with another character, they were met with extreme hostility. They accused the creators of queerbaiting, betraying LGBTQ+ fans. They also sent the creators death threats and spammed his social media with "Make Bakudeku canon." TikTok user then found a leak online from season 6 where Bakugo and Midoriya supposedly are kissing, and they're then claiming that this was removed from the season. The clip was very obviously AI and had been faked, but that didn't stop the shippers from going all out. So there was a lot of mass anger when it was later debunked that, hey, this is 100% fake. Some fans accused the studio again from removing LGBTQ-friendly content and being homophobic. By a lot of anti-Bakudeku shippers, they were met with extreme hostility and with dogpiling, doxing, death threats, and the term anti were used as to dismiss any type of proof or evidence that, hey, this is not what happened. And also, I watched the series. It's like not even close. It's like, unironically, it's not even close. Like I watched it. It's like they don't like each other that much, you know? They're like friends. I mean, they're not even friends. They're only friends at like the last season. And in retaliation, these people started then going against the anti-people by misgendering them, calling them transphobic, homophobic, and what have you. The voice actor then at a convention was asked about the Bakudeku, where he politely declined that, that's not even close to being a part of the story, and he was then harassed online afterwards when the video clip came out. A Bakugo cosplayer was also then attacked by the fans for play acting a scene where Bakugo shouts at Deku, and they called it mocking of an abuse victim. Fans then attempted to edit Wikipedia pages about My Hero Academia to make their ship be a part of the canon, and they treated it as any deniers as gatekeeping or biased writing. Hi, break. This video is sponsored by me. I am a very small YouTuber, and this is just a small section in the middle of the video where I'm telling you that please, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, because it really do help a lot. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I've been getting a lot of good feedback. So this segment is sponsored by me, and hopefully it'll be sponsored by you by liking and subscribing. And I hope you have a very great day, and we will continue with the video. Thank you. The Last of Us Ellie fandom incident is rather quick, and you most likely heard about it before, but long story short, Ellie in The Last of Us, who is played by Bella Ramsey, was met with a lot of hate from the fans. Bella Ramsey, also known as playing Lyanna Mormont from the Game of Thrones, is a non-binary person that uses they, them. If you know anything about The Last of Us, you also know that Ellie is a LGBTQ+ person. The major backlash came from just Bella Ramsey's looks, as they look nothing like Ellie. A lot of people wanted it to be Ellen Page, but that wouldn't really make sense since not a woman anymore, so that wouldn't really make a lot of sense. And they also wanted it to be the voice actor, but the voice actor is a voice actor and not an actor. So there you have it. The initial complaint was also that it was political, as Bella Ramsey doesn't follow the standard beauty standards, and was called lazy and woke for not having a person that looks more like Ellie. Bella has a strong jawline and a non-traditional female look, and that was met with extreme backlash as people wanted Ellie. Now, I'll let you know, Ellie is supposed to be a child, okay? So just keep that in mind while I'm talking about this. Ellie is a child. Okay. This was called out for being LGBTQ propaganda, and Bella Ramsey has since then been met with extreme hostility, death threats, harassment, doxing. And the reason why Bella was even chosen is because she's a great actor, and she is. You know, I can't argue with that. Country balls, also known as Poland Ball incident. So Country Balls is a crudely drawn satirical geopolitical webcomic with absurd humor and making fun of geopolitical events that are happening. Now, the big problem with this incident came with the shipping of the different countries. As you know, in geopolitics and as you know in the world right now, there's a lot of not good stuff happening. And some of the ships were stuff like America and Russia, Germany and Italy, referencing to World War II. That was turned into yaoi fan art. As long as you're over 18, then you can search it up. Poland and Lithuania, Ukraine and Russia, which is, they're literally at war with each other. NATO, EU, and Israel. The Safe for Work incident happened in 2017, where there started coming an insane amount of not safe for work with the Poland balls, and the Reddit and online communities had to explicitly ban it, which then turned into an entirely different community where it was not safe for work content only. Fandom problems also with some of the ships like Ukraine and Russia, as people were claiming that this was trivializing the war and the conflict, and it was trivializing genocide. But a lot of the posters just doubled down and said this is artistic freedom, and it's actually really cool because they are actually in love with each other. A lot of people also started projecting their own personal beliefs onto the different balls and would then harass people if they were against it. For example, if you were German and you were a part of the German fandom, then you would be trans Germany. And if you put yourself into France, you would be lesbian France, and gay USA and homophobic Russia. Which is obviously not good. As a person from EU, I know that the countries generally don't really like each other. So if you put stuff into real countries, people are not gonna like you. That's just how it is. Welcome to the EU. So after this entire incident with a lot of hate being thrown around from different countries and different fandoms inside of the same fandom, they made a new comic, Country Humans, which is the exact same thing, but now it's just drawn humans that are representing of the countries. The Country Balls incident also became famous for stuff like Nazi Germany femboys, cute USSR and USA fanfic, and romanticizing the Gulag, dictatorships, genocide, and the troubled villain tropes. The main thing is just that they got a lot of backlash for saying that, hey, what if the USSR Poland ball was actually gay and stuff like that? And then everyone that has been from the USSR would get insanely angry, which is completely fair. The Hetalia 9/11 RP incident. Hetalia is a anime. Well, it's not an anime, it's a manga. It's Japanese manga where, actually now that we just talked about Poland Ball, it's kind of like the same thing, but not entirely, where countries are represented as people. For example, there's this guy called Alfred, which is representative of America, and then there is Arthur, which is representative of England. Now, why is it called the 9/11 RP incident? The characters involved was America, or Alfred. It was England, Arthur, which is often portrayed as England's older brother in the series. RP was designed for America to experience the 9/11 in characters. The tone of the RP was dramatic and disturbingly self-indulgent. What basically happened is that England tries to comfort America when the towers fall. Some even included sexual and romantic RP inside of it, and the emotional trauma was depicted as fanfic style. The posts were on DeviantArt and Tumblr, and it showed lines like, England rushed to hold America in his arms as the towers fell. He screamed for help, but nobody could hear him over the crashing steel and fire. In some of the versions, there's also a lot of not safe for work in it, and a lot of the fan art also depicted America crying in the flames of the 9/11 incident. Now, this is something I talked about before, but when you start talking about real events and making it into RP, you're gonna be met with a ton of backlash. People called it disgusting, disturbing, and traumatizing, and extremely insensitive, and as an example of fetishizing tragedy. The shippers and the RP people said that it was a way to express their own trauma with the incident, and they were expressing grief through art. And America in the series is a character, so therefore they can RP with him as they like. The Pokemon fan art incident. I'm not even gonna read my notes on this one because you can most likely guess what it is. And there is a lot of them that are kind of the same. So basically, the Pokemon fan art incident is, as you probably can imagine, Pokemon is a massive series. I don't need to explain to you what Pokemon is. Small yellow guy, Pikachu, Pika Pika. You know, you get it. You get the drift. A fan art incident is basically extremely violent and extremely not safe for work edits and fan art of the Pokemon itself. Now, the Pokemon are anthropomorphic by nature because they're literally Pokemons, right? They're like animals. So a lot of people saw that as bestiality, for example, or a lot of the characters in Pokemon are also minors, so they would see that as not good stuff. The big incident happened when a lot of people got called out for this online or Instagram and DVR, and they would defend themselves by saying that this is just artistic expression. There was a massive report of a not safe for work artist, leading to removal of accounts and bans across the entirety of all platforms. And there's also huge debates about what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. This led to some not safe for work artists getting harassment and death threats, and a lot of it came from the Ash x Misty shipping wars that happened, as they are both children. They're children, like, it's Pokemon. It's children. And it's also made for children. So that's where the big stuff really happened. Now, what actually happened was that DeviantArt has then later on gone through and made better securities on their platform to not show explicit content like that. A lot of the big criticism also came from that not only are they children and not only is it animals, or Pokemons if you want to call it that, it is also a show made for kids. And that's why a lot of the backlash happened and why this incident even took place in the first place. Ukraine versus Russia FNF mod incident. So you know what Ukraine and Russia is. It's two countries and they're actively at war with each other right now. It's not good. And FNF stands for Friday Night Funkin', which is a rhythm game. And this mod was made to battle Russia against Ukraine and Ukraine against Russia. It emerged in 2022 and it was meant as a political satirical mod for the game. The mod was originally created as a response for Russia when they invaded Ukraine, and players would then be battling each other in the game with political music. The mod often included lyrics supporting Ukraine. There is actually a lot of fans that praised this as it was a part of a peaceful protest against Russia, but it was mixed with a lot of backlash, obviously. It was criticized for making a fun, casual game into a serious conversation. It was potentially trivializing real serious war and tragedies and real suffering. And it was also creating divisions in the fandom over political messaging. A lot of people just enjoyed FNF being apolitical and fun. The mod then sparked heated debate inside of the Discord, where there was people who was with the mod and people who were against the mod. There was fans who supported the mod's messaging, and then there was fans who were deeply against the mod's messaging, which obviously in real world war, there is also going to be supporters and people not supporters, resistance, right? So some people made it into activism and other people made it into the entertainment, and there was a huge debate and harassment sent through each way. Bakugo poster incident. Okay, this one is very weird. So, Bakugo, again, My Hero Academia. I don't know why we're talking so much about My Hero Academia, but for some reason we are. I mean, I guess I know why, because it's a big show, and when it's a big show, there's going to be a lot of weird people. But the Bakugo poster incident is an infamous video that happened in the fandom. There is evidence that it happened, because it did happen. It was very famous and viral, but the reasoning behind it is not really certain. So basically what happened is a video of a woman, right? Because we don't actually see their face. And there's a poster on the wall of Bakugo, a very infamous poster. And the video shows that the person is filming the Bakugo poster, and then from the bottom of their nether regions, taking out a product, a hygiene product made for women. Now, this hygiene product is very red. It's soaking with liquid. And what happens in the video is then this person takes the hygiene product out that is dripping and then puts it on the Bakugo poster. It's been analyzed to be after a very important episode in the series, so it's about to be like against Bakugo, but basically defacing Bakugo with their hygiene product. That is that incident. The Loud House fan art incident. Loud House is a show mainly featuring underage characters. Well, basically only featuring underage characters. And the fan art incident came from an extreme amount of sad, disturbing, traumatic, and violent and sexual fan art that was made of these characters. Now, the themes that would usually be shown in this fan art would be abuse and neglect. It would be trauma, psychological trauma, and people getting thrown out of the house. They're like a big family, right? Violence between the characters and self-harm. And these themes are very much the opposite of what Loud House really is. A lot of people were praised for showing more serious themes of it, but most people were heavily against it as it is children and it has nothing to do with the actual show. There were also a lot of controversy about shipping, as it's children again, and age inappropriate scenarios, as again it is children. A lot of the people went around this issue by just saying that there's a content warning and you need to be 18 years older to watch this content, but that still doesn't make it any better. The mods then had to enforce stricter rules and be really harsh on people because it went so out of hand that people would post not safe for work and extreme violent in the Loud House communities, which is predominantly meant for children. I don't know why there's so much meant for children that it's not children watching it, but predominantly for children, and had to go against it. Panic at the Disco Hair Cookies. Now, Panic at the Disco is a band. It's a music group. And this is an anecdote shared by Brendan, the lead singer. Now, this isn't confirmed, but as a person that's been in the music industry myself, I could definitely see it happen. Basically, what happened is, while Panic at the Disco being on tour, they used to meet up with the fans. Now, this one particular fan then gave them a batch of cookies, which in itself is not that bad. It in itself is like actually quite a nice gesture. The band would start eating these cookies. After a while, they realized that they found a hair in it. And after further inspection, they realized that there was not a little bit of hair in it, there was a lot of hair in these cookies. That seemed so much hair that it seemed deliberate, which then further on led to the band not accepting gifts anymore from fans. The Voltron Legendary Defender Fandom incident. This happened especially inside of the shipping communities and specifically with the one called clans. And this case has been involved with stalking, high doxing rates, harassment, death threats, and stealing, and a lot more. The Voltron Legendary Defender is an animated series that got a reboot back in 2016. This incident mainly happened on Tumblr and on Reddit. So we start with the glass cupcakes incident. An alleged fan sent cupcakes filled with glass to the creators as a threat for them to start actually making clans, which is Lance and Klein, I think their name is. I actually can't remember. I'll put what their actual name is up here. But they were shipping these people or these characters so hard and they wanted it to be a real thing. So what they did is that they made cupcakes and then filled them with glass shards and then sent it to the creators. Now, this has not been confirmed, but that is what the rumor goes by. The creators were accused of queerbaiting these two characters who are friends because they were not romantically together. Then there was also allegedly and rumors circulating in the fandom of stealing money from charities and redirecting charity and GoFundMe into their own pockets so they could buy merch of Voltron to support the show even more. But there's been no legal repercussions of this. Then there's been death threats and harassment of the voice actors of the show because of disagreements on canoonships, character development, and criticism of fan behavior. Creators were being threatened with physical harm. Voice actors were receiving hateful messages and threats. There was also an intense rivalry inside of the actual fandom with the clans and other shippings. So yeah, that was the Voltron incident. Undertale Needle Cake incident. This happened in 2017 at a convention in Taiwan, where a cosplayer of Undertale and an artist of Undertale, not the actual game, but like fan art, about the character France, which is a ship of the character Sans and the character Frisk. This person was then given a cake at the convention, and upon biting into it, they found sewing needles. The injured person posted a picture online on Twitter with the sewing needle and blood on it, and mentioned contacting police and doctors. The artist then later on closed down their profiles to stop the harassment and to make sure that this event doesn't happen again. This is the only confirmed case that this has happened, but there's other people that have come out saying that they've also been getting cakes with sewing needles inside of them. And predominantly people cosplaying as the France ship or people making art of France ship. Some people suggest that it might just have been a person at the convention that just out of pure insanity did this. The Steven Universe fan art incident. Steven Universe is a show about, Steven's Universe. And it refers to the incident that happened in 2015 with the harassment campaign against the teenage fan and fan artist Page Sammy070 Pass after posting stylized fan art of the characters. A lot of people saw the stylized characters as body shaming and fatphobic and whitewashing, and she was therefore subjected to abuse and harassment from the fandom. It even sparked debate about fandom policies, art interpretation, and online bullying. Sammy070 is a teen artist that usually posted on DeviantArt and Tumblr and Instagram. They are known for making fan art of Steven Universe, Homestuck, and My Little Pony. Initially, Sammy got constructive criticism on her art and proper feedback, but dozens of Tumblr users started reblogging her post, saying that it was racist, transphobic, and fatphobic. Over 40 different hate blogs were formed solely to harass Sammy with the tag Sammy is garbage. Some accused her of problematic behavior, of faking mental illness, and manipulative behavior, which is completely unconfirmed. Many, if not all, of these claims are unverified and heavily exaggerated. This became so bad for Sammy that in October 2015, Sammy posted a picture from the hospital after caused by months and months of harassment from the fandom. The post included an apology to the fandom and to please make them stop. The fandom then proceeded to mock her for this attempt and accused her of faking it and others deleting their blogs. Ian Jones, the creator of Steven Universe, then tweeted, "If you ever find yourself attacking a fan artist, you're in the wrong." His public defense was the big turning point in the fandom. The harassment to Sammy was no longer seen as justified. Wider internet discourse picked up the story like Polygon and the Mary Sue, condemning the incident for its toxicity and online bullying, and as cyberbullying disguised as social justice. Because of this, the Steven Universe fandom has gotten a reputation for being overzealous, especially about politics and representations and ships. The future Crewniverse members like Lauren Suk, who was a storyboard artist, was then later driven off the entire project because she got so much hate and harassment from the fans. Tumblr harassment, call-out culture, and fandom purity culture then became a big part of the fandom. The MLP FedEx shooter incident. The MLP FedEx shooter incident refers to the tragic mass shooting at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis in April of 2021, where the shooter's disturbing ties to the My Little Pony fandom sparked intense debate. To give an overview of what happened, the shooter, Brandon Scott, age 19, was revealed to have a dark fandom obsession with the My Little Pony character Applejack. And Scott Brandon entered the FedEx facility where he used to work, armed with an AR-15 and a shotgun. He opened fire on the employees and tragically killing 8 and injuring 7 more. Before the attack only lasted a couple minutes, but left devastating losses. The shooter, Brandon Scott, had a whole history of mental health issues, and police had even beforehand confiscated his firearms, but he later regained access to firearms. The reason why this is connected to the MLP fandom is because investigators found that Brandon Scott was extremely active on MLP My Little Pony fandom websites and forums, and he was especially obsessively attached to the character Applejack. The last message and the last thing he ever wrote before committing the tragedy was on an MLP forum where he said, and I quote, "I hope I can be with Applejack in the afterlife." This is obviously a very awful and tragic event that happened, and it is not because of the MLP fandom that this happened. This happened because of an individual with a long history of mental illness not getting enough help when he desperately needed it. That he was a part of the fandom and was obsessive about Applejack might have given him, this is highly speculative, might have given him delusions that if he did this, he would be with Applejack in the afterlife, as he hinted at in his last messages. And that was the end for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is FizzberG. I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. I know a lot of these are kind of similar and very the same-ish, so I hope it was still very interesting for you. If you enjoyed this content, then please do like and subscribe, and I hope that you have a very good and amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one.